What are you so afraid of becoming? Not that failure version of yourself. That's far too easy for you to imagine. You've rehearsed that 1,000 times. The letdown, the collapse, the disappointment. That future that feels very familiar, even. And it's comfortable for you because you've lived close to it for years, for decades. However, that other version, the one that moves with clarity, follows through with things, the one that you hesitate to picture in your mind for too long, because it would mean you have to change everything to adapt to that person, is the person that you should be, is the person that you should be imagining and referencing to create yourself to become. The things that they do, not just the habits, but the identity that they follow, the way that they speak, the things that they tolerate, the excuses that you let define them. That is the person that you should be questioning in your mind and aiming to become. That version of you would force you to stop waiting. It would force you to explain why you're such a fuck up. It would leave behind so many people that you currently, hang out with and engage with. They would burn through the comfort that you spent years building. And that is terrifying to you. Not because it's impossible, but because it's real. It's because it's attainable. It's because it's within reach if only you would go out of your own way to achieve it. That growth isn't limited by external limits as often as it is by internal limitations. The internal negotiations between doing this and not doing this. You are not fighting the world. Instead, you're simply arguing with yourself, with your own mind. You're constantly bargaining. How much change can I get away with while still saying the same, still staying comfortable? However, nothing significant is built on half-assed effort or on half measures. You don't become grounded while keeping one foot in chaos, and you don't get stronger while constantly defending the weakness that still resides. There's a big cost to transformation, and you've been keeping those receipts. You've been watching the people who went all in and thinking, yeah, that's too much work for me. Watching them become disciplined and destined and focused and distant to you, and deciding that it's far safer to stay exactly where you are just in case none of it works out or just in case something fails. However, if staying safe was satisfying, you would never feel this restless as you currently do while you stay in that comfortable zone. You wouldn't look at your own reflection in the mirror every day and think that there's something missing behind your eyes. You wouldn't fill your time with noise just to avoid sitting alone with what you haven't done. You wouldn't stop meditating because you could not sit in silence for 5 minutes because the thoughts just kept piling up over and over. And the hard truth is that version of you that you're afraid to become, the one that's serious, committed, and maybe even intimidating to an extent, is the one that's actually waiting for you to catch up. It isn't some fantasy or a fallacy. It's not miles away. It's not across the other fucking side of the world. Instead, it's built through small, deliberate choices. It's built by waking up earlier, even when you do not want to. By being honest in conversations that make your stomach knot and turn. By turning off the easy pleasures and choosing to sit with the discomfort of real work instead of just avoiding it. The more often you choose what strengthens you instead of what soothes you, the more you become that person that doesn't negotiate with weakness. And yes, it will feel unnatural as fuck because you haven't done it in your life before. Your system is so used to delaying things. Your social circle is used to that version 1 of you. And when you stop performing weakness, the people around you will get uncomfortable, including yourself. And you have to let them. You have to let yourself be uncomfortable and let your friends be uncomfortable with that person you're becoming. That is part of the process. Some of them will catch up to you and some of them won't. You're not doing this. You're not living your whole life just to please them. Instead, you're doing it because the cost of staying the same has become quietly unbearable. You don't need to become an entirely different person. You just need to become more honest. More honest about the things that you want, about how much time you're wasting every single day, and about the fact that you're not actually stuck, you're simply stalling and you're just being lazy. There's no permission coming, there's no validation on the way, there's no certainty. All there is a choice for you to make. The choice to step forward into the version of yourself that you've spent years pretending that you're not ready for. And if that version fails, then it fails, it happens. Let it fail loud, let it fail forwards, let it fail while you're trying. Because nothing is worse than that slow ache of wondering who you could have been if you had just stopped holding back while regretting who you actually are. So one more time, I'm going to ask again, without any sort of decoration or any sort of echo. What is it that you are so afraid of becoming? And what would happen if, regardless of all the noise, you became it anyway?